Hello, everyone. So here we are at joy workout number 7. And today I want to talk about blessings. I woke up today feeling in that kind of a zone. And I want to talk about it in a way that could make sense to whatever your belief system is. I feel that's very important, especially these days, um, when I feel like there's a hunger for something more, but not sure how to access it without giving away our power, or giving away too much of ourselves in a way that's not uh, comfortable. So let's take a look at this is the joy ladder, the joy, the scale of emotions that we have at joy-based living. And at the very bottom is like shame and powerlessness. In the middle is like acceptance and courage. That's like the turning point of leveraging your way up to the higher level of emotions, higher vibrations of joy, appreciation, freedom, love. That's at the top. And there's probably thousands of words. This is just a real it's a great summary. It's a great touchstone. If you're ever like wanting to improve your emotional intelligence, your ability to be more emotionally literate so that you can have a better sense of self and have a better self connection so you can have more power in your life. It's really important to be able to know what you're feeling. It's very helpful to be able to name what you're feeling. Often the body sensations themselves are enough in terms of, "Oh, this feels good," or "This doesn't feel good," but naming it can just help you become more specific about what you need, and so that you can communicate that and experience it, achieve it. So why blessings? So a few months ago, Michelle, who's one of our members, put together an art show, and she helped bring us all together for the joy-based living people to bring our own art, from everything from very simple pieces to very, very professional art. Um, and then she asked me to speak about, she asked me to speak to the group of people who were there. And it was in a context, the reception context that we were part of as joy-based living had to do with sex trafficking. And I'm talking today about blessings, and so I want you to know what happened inside of me as I prepared myself to speak for a few minutes to this group of people who were showing up with a deep sense of reverence to this art show, because it was a lot of it was about stopping sex trafficking. Well, that's not what our exhibit was about, but I was going to have to do a talk to this group, and I couldn't easily make the bridge between, I mean, most people, like, if you're like at the bottom of the emotional ladder and you're like in powerlessness or shame or deep fear, I mean, that's what we're dealing with when we're dealing with sex trafficking stuff, right? So if you're doing a talk for people, you want to like elevate. You don't usually elevate them up here. You're going to elevate them a little bit higher into a sense of courage and action, and giving people something that they can do, or that kind of a thing. But there I was, standing as the founder of Joy-Based Living, and I'm like, how do I make that bridge? How do I get people to go from like here to here, or even from here to here? And not knowing what to do, I leaned into my heart, and I started out with the words, "With God, all things are possible." And you could just feel the whole room just, I mean, I just like, I leaned into my heart and spoke from that place. And it was a community center. So I was like, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say God here, And I've been dealing it over the years. Like, I've been working and learning from like 12-step programs. And in 12-step programs, they say, it's really important that you have an acknowledgement of a higher power, whatever it is. And I think about one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Sadhguru, who talks about if you only use the intellect, you're only going to have a knife. And having a knife is good, but then if you want to sew, you can't sew a piece of clothing with a knife. You need other dimensions of being active in you. And that made me think about one of my friends who is dealing with healing a lot of emotional trauma. And it's someone who had been with different people who were very narcissistic and abusive. And I helped her find some resources that helped her get wind of what she was doing to attract those people and what the dynamics were like. And then she got like really, really like when your brain starts recognizing a pattern, it's real easy to get like addicted to more information, more information, more information. And I've been down that road, and that's how Sanctuary got written, was because of deepening the understanding over and over and over and over and over and over. Oh my God, there's a pattern here. Okay, but then what I saw was that it was just creating a lot of spinning at for her. And I was like, you're gonna, and she's somebody who's like atheist or agnostic, and I was like, you're gonna have to find a way to tune into a larger field of energy. And if you want to, we can call it the field of love. And she said, oh, I'm comfortable with that. And so we had a few conversations where one of my favorite phrases, I should probably do a series on this, is called I negotiate for joy. I help people negotiate for joy. And so we had a few very, very strong, tough, difficult conversations where I was trying to help her convince herself that leaning into a larger field would be very helpful to her, and that she'd have to let go of the stick of the intellect, because that was just going to cause more spinning, and it actually would not create a change in her life. It would just create like more walls. And so I wanted to invite you into the possibility of leaning into your heart, into your own heart, into the field of love that surrounds you. When you think about putting a seed into the ground, you cultivate that seed by giving it what it needs. You give it earth, you give it water, you give it sunshine, right? When we're cultivating the higher level emotions, what does it mean to cultivate those higher level emotions? What it means is we love them with our attention, and we love them with our belief. And we say, you know what? Maybe more joy is possible for me. You know what? I'm going to practice appreciation. I'm going to practice love. Um, and so when we do that, whatever we put our attention on is what will grow. That's how we cultivate feelings, by giving them our attention. So the workout for today, and this is the challenge, everything that I just said was like a lead up to this, because it's kind of a big one if you're not practiced in it. I want you to think about the people within this network right here at Patreon or at Crowdcast, just within our network at Joy Based Living. And I want you to think about them with a feeling of love and appreciation and well-being. That to me is a blessing. To wish well-being to others, to wish goodness and happiness to others, that is a blessing. To say, I'm going to hold you in my heart and see the best in you. And I thought about like some of the frustrations that we have with technology or with social media or with the people who are in our social media networks and things like that. And then I thought, how often do we take the time to bless our networks? And why not? Why don't we do that? Why don't we make that a joy workout? So I want you to think about it. You know, you can start with mine if that's more comfortable, or you can do. We'll start with mine because we're here. So we have Patreon, we have Facebook. We can think about our Joy Based Living group at Facebook and send everybody a sense of well-being, love, a wishing from our hearts. What I know is that when I'm in my heart and I feel connected in my heart, that's the place where I believe we're all connected. It's the soil, the invisible soil that connects us all. So connecting everybody at Joy Based Living at Facebook, connecting everybody at Joy Based Living at YouTube, and think about your own social networks. You might have Twitter, your email, your phone book, and just deciding in yourself. You don't even have to think about specific people. You can think about who you're being as you show up, and think about the love that's available in you, and that you are going to let your heart be like a sunshine of love as a presence. Where people get a little bit confused is sometimes they think, well, if I'm going to be all loving, well, then I don't need to like set boundaries. And no, it's like we're like these multifaceted, multidimensional beings. So we walk in with a deep sense of love, but also through doing, the practices, joy-based living practices, sanctuary book, you learn that boundaries are important. You learn how to take care of yourself and to protect yourself at the same time. One of the biggest things that you're protecting yourself from is what? Is negative thoughts and feelings. And so if you're in a sense of blessing in yourself, and when you give a sense of love and well-being outward, whatever you put out actually floods your own system as well. It floods your own body, it floods your emotions, it floods your spirit, and it makes your presence stronger, wider, deeper, and you become more of a light in the world. So I hope that this message is being taken in by you in your heart in a way that is well received. I hope it makes sense to you. I would love to know your experience of it. I don't have an agenda of like forcing spirituality on anybody, but I do have an agenda of increasing a sense of joy. And I don't know how to increase a sense of joy in fullness without a sense of connectedness with the larger field of love that's around us all and inside of us all. So thank you for being here with me in this conversation and in our community. I really appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central for another joy workout. Bye for now.